Hi everybody, this is Trish from Art Journal Junkie. At the end of last year, when I was setting up my Moleskine, Moleskine, I don't know how you pronounce it, but at any rate, when I was setting up this planner, everybody sort of oohed and ahed on the Facebook group and said, tell me more. Well, I did tell more by putting you all in the direction of Lorraine Bell, who is the lady who started this, I believe, in 2014, and I did get hold of her on her website, and I became, I chose one of her classes, I paid for it, and I learned how to do the setup. But I'm not going to tell you too much about the setup. You can go and have a look for Lorraine Bell, other than to say that as I was setting up my journal, I was using this horrible 140-pound watercolor paper. I really would not use it ever again. It warps and it buckles, unless you like warping and buckling, but it warps, it buckles, it bends. It's just absolutely miserable. But at any rate, so the Moleskine is that I'm using is a 1 year, 52-week planner. Down the one side, it's got the month, the week, and then the 7 days. On the other page, it has lined, it's a lined page which you can, I guess, do your writing, make your notes on. And you can see it is also a very flimsy paper. So it's not my style of journaling, I must be honest. I like my planners to be planners. I like my journals to be journals. But I'm going to stick with this for a year. So I thought I would show you the first 6 weeks of the year. Now, the idea behind this planner, and it's my idea, is to take each week and in an arty sort of way, just highlight what has happened so that one day when I look back on it, I can say, oh yes, I remember on Wednesday the 3rd I had a play date. And I had a play date with so-and-so, and on the 2nd I got a wool winder which I'd never actually purchased, you know, and on the Saturday I went to the Ice Stars, the Imperial Ice Stars, to see Cinderella on ice with the grandchildren, etc., etc. I'm also using it as a sort of a journal section. I've joined Lifebook with Tamara Laporte, and the journaling section that I am following, I will use these pages for. Now, I must say I used watercolor here, and really the watercolor, it doesn't bleed through, but it just makes everything so crunchy. Not crunchy even, sort of like wet. And I don't do the crinkle wet thing. But I'm going to continue with it. Additionally, each of the months, I've put a tag up here for, well, January and February so far, and I will continue with the rest of the months as I go down, or go through the year. I tried to use the Caran d'Ache Neocolor 2s, but I found that some of my pens didn't like writing on them. Again, the acrylics that I used just directly on the page sort of went very dull, and I thought, well, all right, no problem. I will try it the next week using acrylics with gesso behind it, and so they were a bit more vibrant. Still not my favorite. I collaged in some pictures, I beg your pardon, some pieces of paper that I printed out, wrote the dates on, collaged in a little saying that I'd found in a magazine, made a note that if I don't take my medicine, I'm going to fall down and spend the day in bed. I found this tag and I tipped it in. I had gessoed this page and played around with some collage, some acrylics, some gesso, and black ink. You know what, as I said, it's just a place to play. This is not going to be my art of all time. It's merely just to test out things and to try them out. and I did try them out. This is just watercolor that I puddled. I wanted to see how it worked. I wanted to look at the muddiness that it would create, whether it would make a nice orange or not, what that particular blue would do with this particular green. So I really did play. This, on this side of the watercolor paper, I just took a pen and I just scribbled. This was a tiny Posca pen. I don't know if you've seen them. They come in very, very thin nibs. So this was a Posca pen, and I just did scribble, scrabble. I wrote a whole bunch of rubbish like peanut butter's in the fridge and the cows over the moon and that sort of rubbish. But I think this is going to be nice if I scan it in and print it onto tissue paper. I think it will be good as a collage element. That was a little piece of jelly print that I cut out and plonked in as well. This is a little tag from Little Raven Ink. Again from Little Raven Ink. This was just some tip-ins of pictures. Now I must tell you, these pictures were printed on my home printer and onto photo paper, but they really are very dull, and I'm not happy with them, but they're there, and it's a pain in the bum remembering what sort of picture you want to put in your diary only when you get home from your trip, which prompts me to this there. I'll come back to that in a moment. Just remember the pictures. So Jenny Mano has got a Facebook page called Next Generation Art, or Next Generation, and she does a prompt every week, and I worked out that my mermaid's tail is quite sad and that I probably am dyslexic because I couldn't spell amazing, but I wrote here that she is mermazing, and there again is my little symbol for the year, which means to receive. I worked out that tip-ins are best done when the paint is not wet, but that was just on my trip, and also, you know, keeping bits and bobs in here. This week I used the Little Raven Ink collage sheets for my days and dates. I became a patron of hers on Patreon. I love her little nook dwellers. I'm very inspired by the way that she does art, and so I tried. I really tried. Let me tell you that when I took out my mermaid markers and I did these swatches, and it's the first time in 6 months that I've touched these because I've been too scared of them, I found that they leaked through the page. They bled. So that's fine. I then put a light layer of gesso over here and used this as a collage, again using some of the Little Raven Ink collage sheets and my own funny, let's call her nook dweller wannabe, okay, because she's not quite a nook dweller yet. This was my first little nook dweller that I drew, very pale, and you can see I was very nervous, but nevertheless I enjoyed doing that. And then one of the things that I did on the Sunday was this dot mandala. You must go and have a look at Traveling Kindness Rocks. Every month there's a get-together on YouTube, and we all dot the same mandala, and this month was, for February, it was All You Need Is Love. That's the title of this dot mandala. In fact, let me show you here. That's the actual size of it. So it's I took just a little canvas board, which is, I think, 5.5 or maybe 6 inches. Yeah, it's 6 by 6, and we dotted this mandala. The next week, as I said to you, look at this. Little Raven Ink became an enabler, and I bought myself this stunning little sprocket. It prints out these 2x3 photographs, which are absolutely perfect for when I go traveling, because then I don't have to remember to put a photograph through my printer at home and then stick it into my diary. Or my planner. I actually can do it right there and then. So what I did, the first one that I printed out was a pic of myself and my friend. Had a look at it, and I found that the color was a little bit too dull for me. So once I played with the app, and warmed it up, I was able to print it out again and pop it in my diary. That's my best friend and myself. And as I said, you know, each week I've used a different medium. I've used gel pens, I've used Posca pens, I've used acrylics. I got the Tiki Graphics and the Pilot V pen. They don't like acrylics. And this is just a little collage window, which Courtney Diaz has on her Patreon, or I think I've actually seen this on her YouTube channel as well. So I decided to try it out. That's a nice page, again, just playing with watercolors and then putting some cling film over it and scrunching the cling film up while it's wet and leaving it to dry overnight. I've done this before, and I love the sort of the shininess that comes through once you've taken the cling film off. So my final little girl for this week, she was terribly sad, but that's only because I came down with the dreaded lurgy and I had a nasty virus. But I'm looking to find my own style in my diary. You can see how it changes. I'm very graphic in a way that I love type and fonts, and I love black and white, but I also love color. So we'll see how I go through the months. And yeah, keep having a look to see how this goes. Come on over to Art Journal Junkie on Facebook and join us there. We've got 12,500 members now. I can't believe it. It's amazing. But if you enjoyed this little video, please subscribe, because then you'll get notifications of the next 6 weeks that I flip through. And I hope you've enjoyed yourself. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.